So it's not a secret that I do enjoy the occasional simulation style game. Hell, I did an entire month centered around them, and plan to do so again this upcoming September. With all of that said, one of the games that I come back to semi-frequently is the Farming Simulator franchise by Giants. I don't typically play it alone, but I do play with a pal, Jers, and I can assure you, playing this with friends is the way to go. And why Farming Simulator? There's just something relaxing and cathartic about harvesting wheat, soybean, and corn while seeing your bank account increase when selling the product. And cows. Lots of cows. So when I read an article that stated that Giants was releasing a physical 16-bit remake of sorts on the Sega Genesis, I knew I was interested, and I immediately pre-ordered the game. Well, it came to me this week, and so let's check it out. The box feels like a pretty standard clamshell case used back in the day. The label printed on it looks high quality, with standard feature blurbs on the back that would attempt to get you to purchase the game on a store shelf. Opening the clamshell, we have the green cartridge and black and white instruction manual. Again, the printed label looks pretty good, but the cartridge feels like it was made using extremely cheap plastic. The instruction manual isn't anything to write home about either, but it does give enough information on how to effectively play the game. Interestingly enough, there's also a web link and a code to be able to download and play the game on your PC using an emulator, which was needed for me since I don't currently own a Genesis, nor did my Retron 5 recognize the card at all. Downloading the game was easy enough, which gives you two options, a zip file and an ISO to burn the disc. I just ran the auto-run file from the zip file, and you get a neat little splash screen giving you options to play the game, view the manual, listen to the soundtrack, open the ROM image, or get to the website. Loading up the game itself, the game immediately gives you 3 quick screens on how to control the vehicles in game. It's definitely easy enough to understand. The game also tells you the farming cycle, but truthfully, if you have any experience at all with the main versions of the game, this is a no-brainer. You'll also notice a window in the back that tells you the controls, how to get to full screen, and how to bring up the emulator menu, along with a blurb that tells you to visit a website to download any updates. Somehow, I don't feel like there's gonna be any updates, but we'll get there. Let's start a new game. Oh. Well, I don't know exactly what I expected, but I think I was looking for a bit more than this. Let's slow down and go over what we're looking at. You start on the first map out of 3, with 4 different vehicles. A tractor hauling a cultivator, a tractor with a seeder, a grain harvester, and a tractor attached to a trailer. You also start with $50,000. There's several points of interest on the map. A gas station, a store to buy seeds, and 2 selling points on the left and right edges of the map. There are also multiple fields to work on. All fields are already owned by you, so you can choose which one you want to start with. Take the tractor with the cultivator to the field, hit A to activate the tool, and just start driving across the field to make it ready for seed planting. Once you are done cultivating the field, you hit C to change vehicles and repeat with the tractor and seeder. Now you simply wait for the field to grow its crop, or cultivate and seed another field as you wait. Once a field is ready, take the harvester and drive it across the field to take up whatever the crop is. Load up the trailer by driving the tractor next to the harvester, then drive it to one of the selling points to sell the grain. Rinse and repeat. And that's Farming Simulator 16-bit edition. And no, I'm not really kidding here. This really is all there is to the game. Harvest fields that all have the same crop type and earn money to buy upgraded vehicles or access new maps. You know, I wasn't expecting a full-on translation of the main PC game. I wasn't expecting AI to do the work for you, or a whole gambit of crop types, or even the full assortment of vehicles on display in the garage. But would it have killed Giants to have, I don't know, maybe a bit more content available, instead of a game that after you've played for not even 10 minutes, you've seen all there is to see? Let's go over a few things step by step. For one, the vehicles themselves. Of course, you start off with basic tools that can only do 1 or 2 rows or columns at a time, since all of the fields are created on a grid system. By earning money, you can enter the garage and peruse what the game calls configurations. there are 4 categories, one for each type of work that you perform in the game. In each of these categories, you have about a half dozen or less options. For the most part, these are just different variations of a basic tractor and upgraded tractor mixed with basic tool and upgraded tool. You can't individually decide what vehicle goes with which tool. In addition, there's only 2 harvesters available, so that's fun. Not that different harvesters really matter. Again, there's only 1 crop type ever seen in the game, which looks like wheat to me. At least it sells well at about $1,000 per 1% sold, so it doesn't take too long to earn some extra cash. But I was hoping that maybe when I go to the later maps that different crops would be seen, as if crops might be locked to a certain map. Nope, still wheat. Speaking of maps, the sizes are, I guess, okay. They aren't as expansive as the back of the box makes it seem. At the start of the game, though, the other 2 maps are locked behind paywalls called licenses. I guess the town wants a cut before you start profiting on all of their fertile land. And how much do these towns want? Only $1 million for the second map and $2.5 million for the third? Ugh. I played the game long enough to unlock the second map, which looks a lot like the first, just with more buildings and white picket fences in the way. Hey, there's some paved roads. That's different. Oh, still wheat. Lame. Also, when you purchase maps, the vehicles don't come with. You are given a crappy tractor and cultivator, and that's it. But you can get around this by loading your existing vehicles into the garage, moving them to the new map, and then removing them from the garage. Feels like I'm working the system here, but I wasn't about to keep playing to earn more cash to actually buy new vehicles. Oh, and before I forget, tank controls. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Tank controls have never bothered me personally, but I know there are a lot of people out there that get irritated by them, so I figured I'd be nice and mention them. Anyway, as you control your vehicle, you may notice something. By working vertically, you cover more of the field. Wait, what? How much sense does this make? Why can I only ever work 1 row at a time, yet can do 2 to 4 columns on the field? This blows my mind. How can this oversight make it past the development team, or even QA if that even existed? Even better, once you learn about the vertical trick, there's an additional way to cheese the game. Simply move your tractor quickly left and right in the middle of 2 columns, and you can hit the next part of the field with ease. It looks silly, sure, and I'd love to see a real farmer doing this, although I think he's probably either drunk or having a stroke. But hey, anything to get more cash quickly so I can stop playing this junk heap. And you might have noticed that sometimes there's sound and sometimes there's music. The music is good, created by the famed video game composer Chris Hulsbeck, but there's not a lot of it, with each map having 1 whole track, along with menu songs. Also, in a confusing design choice, you can have both effects and music. You have to choose between the 2. You know, I get it. This is a 16-bit game. But last time I checked, whenever I boot up Sonic 3 and Knuckles, I get sound effects and music at the same effing time. That might sound like lazy programming choices, but get this, it gets even better. Or worse, depending on how you look at things. You probably noticed by now that this game has absolutely 0 animations. None. Zilch. Zip. Nada. The vehicles are just still images that roam around. Are you freaking kidding me? Like, seriously? No animation? You guys didn't even freaking try here. The closest you are going to get to animation is when you have a larger tool attached to a tractor, and it wobbles around a bit behind you as you make turns. That's it. Other than this, there are no moving parts in the game. Again, I cannot stress enough that I did not expect to get everything available in a 37GB game in this 16-bit demake. But let me just go over a few things that were left out, not including tractors that look like they are freaking moving. No crop types, no vehicle customization, no homestead to decorate, no tree cutting, no grass mowing, no animals at all, no traffic encountered, no inclement weather, no seasons. Pretty bare bones here, and that's an understatement. It's a miracle there's a fueling station and a seed shop, to be perfectly honest with you. I mean, come on! How hard could it have been to add maybe a half dozen crops? Maybe do something like different crops that would have needed different harvesters. What about the occasional person walking around? You can't hit them in the modern game, so not being able to interact with them here would have been accurate enough. What about vehicles to cut down the occasional tree, or the ability to mow grass? Maybe one or two contracts here and there. They were competent enough to make menus for a store, so being able to buy food for animals wouldn't have been a stretch, I feel. Guys, I can't stress enough how lazily designed this game feels. After I was done playing the game, I thought about it. I decided to open the cartridge up to see how large the circuit board was. Maybe I'm just an asshole that doesn't understand game design, and that the game's space was legitimately used up. According to the internet, Street Fighter II was the largest cart created for the Genesis, topping off at a whopping 40 megabits. But this is modern times, and I'm sure there are workarounds, right? Anywho, I popped it open, and I was not surprised with what I saw. There's not much to the board, and whoever or whatever cut the shape of the board did a terrible job, with a few strings or something just hanging around at the top. Even better, and something that was so unexpected that it made me laugh out loud, was on the other side. And it's not the "this side up during case assembly," it's what's in the top left. Don't panic. What? I don't even know what to say about this. Don't panic? Panic about what? How crappy this game turned out to be? And now that I'm nitpicking about the cartridge, I looked at the game case again. When I put it on the shelf with the rest of my games, I found out that the side part of the label that sticks out is upside down compared to every other box Genesis game I own. You have no idea how much this is gonna bother me. It's almost to the point where I don't even want to have it displayed on the shelf. It's time to wrap this review up. If you are interested in the game, the PC-only version is on Giants' website for $15. Being that I was a dumbass and fell for the physical edition, I paid $66.76 after shipping and state tax. I can honestly say without a doubt that this is one of the few special editions that I purchased that I 100% regret. Paying nearly $70 for a game that truthfully feels incomplete is a kick in the nuts. I just went online and paid $70 for Doom the Dark Ages on PS5, and at least I know that's going to be a fun time. But this mess feels like Giants didn't give two craps about their fans. You know what? No, they didn't even give a single crap about their fans. They pushed this out knowing that people like me that love retro gaming are going to poke their heads up like a groundhog saying, "Do you make by original developers?" I played a lot of games in my time, and this is without a doubt one of the laziest designed games that I've ever played. There's so little content available that it makes my head spin. And you can't tell me that if you bought this game back in the early 90s that you wouldn't have been disappointed. We would have said there's little content in here back then too. Sure, it's not buggy. Sure, it's got good music. Sure, it's playable. But why would you want to? Final score? 3 out of 7. Note that I would rate this game lower, but subpar sums it up perfectly, since it's not really bad or broken, just boring and lackluster. This is Reaper. Happy fragging.